Hey everybody, Jerry with 3DHP. The SV08 has arrived. In today's video, we're going to set it up, we're going to kick the tires, we're going to walk around, talk about it. This is not a review in any way, shape, or form, but we're going to put it together. I'm going to give you my thoughts on it and tell you what I think about it and what have I noticed that they've improved. And we'll get into it right after this. Thank you for sticking around. Consider smashing that like button down below, subscribing and sharing this. And leave me comments. Comments make my YouTube algorithm work better, and it helps up my channel and helps me to grow. But we're going to jump into a time lapse. We're going to unbox this. We're going to put it together. We're going to look at all the parts, go over this, that, and other. We're going to try to print some cool stuff, and then I'll give you my thoughts on what I think of it. And yeah, it's like I say, but this is not a review video. So here we go. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to mention. How did I get this printer? Sovol did not send this to me for free to test and review. Though I wanted them to, that did not happen. The makers in the community, I asked everybody on my weekly live stream that I have every Saturday live on YouTube and Twitch, 12 p.m. Pacific. I asked for donations over a period of about a month. Of my awesome friends online donated through me through PayPal and through Super Chats and allowed me to buy this printer. I was able to come up with roughly $600 to buy it. I think it was like $579. It took around 30 days to get it. Once I got the printer, then I noticed that they're now listed on Amazon, and you can pick them up on Amazon. And I think on Prime Day they had them for like $597, which you get like a 2-day shipping here in the U.S. Anyway, back to the video. Here we go. I just want to throw it out there. At the end of the video, I'll list everybody's name that contributed. And every time I do a video on this, I will list everybody's name that contributed, that made this possible for me to have this today. So here we go. Okay, let's take a look at the base here and look at all the parts. Now this base has some weight to it. It's not light. And look at the bottom, we got an aluminum panel. There's a noisy fan I've heard so much about. I'll be replacing that. It all appears to be mold injected. Aluminum plate on the bottom. It looks well constructed. Here's the hot end. Magnetic cover. Take a closer look at that. You can get it built. Flex plate. Thunder from back in the 20s in those old movies. They would use steel and rattle it to sound like thunder. A brush to wipe it in the back and a sensor. Forget what that's called. And let's spin around and take a look at everything else. Okay, we got the 4 uprights with the stepper motors on it. It's got the belts. Feet on the bottom. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got the top frame, which has an LED light in it that I see. Flying Gantry, I believe that's what it's called. And let's see, filament roller with a filament runout sensor. Clippers, which I use them for toenails also. Power cord, a couple Allens. A track for covering up wire somewhere, a little plastic piece. We have a scraper. Extra nozzle, screen. I'll be replacing that probably. USB, some wire connectors, zip ties, some paste. It's like another wiper. PTFE, tools, wrenches, tweezers, a nozzle. Oh wow, a little nozzle wrench, that's nice. And the hypodermic needle. All the screws the bags are labeled what goes where. A small roll of filament. companies include full rolls. It's not that much more money. These are almost completely worthless. I mean, it's something. Something's better than nothing, right? But it's bigger than the little samples they used to give out. They could barely do a benchy, but anyway, got some white here. Wi-Fi connection paperwork, and then the booklet that explains how to put it all together. And yes, I've already watched like a million videos on people putting this together and seeing what they think of them. That's where I got the idea to possibly even buy this. But should be a great machine. And it's a Voron clone, as everybody knows. It's based off of Voron. It's a clone, Voron style printer. And that's the reason I wanted it. I didn't want to build a Voron from scratch. I built my Hypercube years ago from scratch. I didn't want to do a Voron, but I wanted something that was similar to a Voron. And this is possibly it. It's got a good sized build volume. 350 by 350 by, forget what it is. I'll put it on the screen here. But it should be good for doing helmets and such. I will probably enclose it. But let's get on to putting it together. But yeah, it came very well packaged in the box. Took around a month to get it from Sovol. And I see that they're on Amazon right now. And on Prime, they're on sale. So I shared a link. But by the time you see the video of the sale, I'm sure it'll be over. But it might be. So I'll have an Amazon affiliate link in the description below if you choose to buy one from Amazon or buy one from the company. It's your choice. But let's get to putting it together. But so far so good. I don't see anything broke or damaged. And I love blue. Blue and black, blue and gray. Looks well constructed. Let's get putting it together.
Carry out Vegas machine, roaring loud. Sovol SV08, cranking like a beast plow. Voron 2.4, sleek design, so damn divine. Blatant magic building dreams line by line. Oh yeah. The plastic morphing shapes taking form in that hot desert heat where nothing's ever norm. 350 by 350 by 345 it goes. Jerry, keep that fire burning with those filament flows. The plastic morphing shapes taking form in that hot desert heat where nothing's ever norm. 350 by 350 by 345 it goes. Jerry, keep that fire burning with those filament flows. Written dreams in the neon night. Desert sky making the future bright. Jerry rocking 3DHP, building worlds we ain't yet seen. Like and seen. Slicing visions through that software haze. Dimensions crafted in the desert maze. Heat bed humming under electric skies. Every layer lifting dreams that rise. Design so sharp cutting through the air. Like a rocket bomb in a printer's glare. 3D fantasy light up on the plate. Jerry at the controls never hesitates. Printing dreams in the neon night.
Okay, we can grab the power cord out of the garage for now. This has a ground lug on it, so I had to go to power cord. I don't have a bracket converter, and I really don't want to cut off the ground lug. Okay, it's plugged in. Moment of truth. Power on the sides, turn it on. It's a system boot. Go for the peel here. Let me turn off my background fan so you can hear it well better. Okay. That's 100% all Sovol now. Let's try auto home to see what happens. I'm about leveling it. Well, that's a good sign. So let me look through the paperwork and see what I have to do to calibrate it. But yeah, it went together real easy. My first leg, when I put in the first leg, the paperwork appeared to be mirrored from what I was doing with the screws, but I got to figure it out. And once you figure out the angle, when you slip it together, the other ones are a piece of cake. The last one's a little more difficult, but I got it to pop in. I think, if I remember correctly, a piece of plastic was rubbing, and I just had to kind of tweak it, and it went right past it. No biggie. But yeah, pretty machine. Okay, I finally got the Wi-Fi figured out. I checked online. I done what the paperwork said. I took a USB stick and I changed the SSID and the password and tried that multiple times. It didn't work. I looked on a Facebook group for Sovol. A lot of people were recommending a POWERTEC's video when she reviewed the printer, how she had to fix it and SSH into the printer, being hardwired with a network cable. So got a network. I googled it, got a network cable, hooked it up. It instantly talks to the printer on my screen. I can see Clipper, everything's working. Watched her video. It was kind of fast, but I had to keep pausing it, going back through it, and I got it about 99% done. It wasn't quite right, so I contacted a friend of mine here in Las Vegas, Jason, a 3D tech support guy, as I call him, and a lot of people call him, and he helped me go back through my settings, and we finally got it working. Took 5 or 10 minutes, and we got it up and running. So Wi-Fi is currently working on it after going through that procedure. And I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I suggest to check out a POWERTEC's video when she reviewed the SV08, and she explains how to go through that if you can't get the Wi-Fi up and running. Now I've loaded up the stock filament, the white that it came with. I've cleaned the bed. I took some soap and water and I cleaned the build plate, and now we're going to auto home it and start running some tests. And when the room is dead quiet, yes, the fan is a little bit loud. It's not that bad, but if you have nothing else going on in the room, nothing else running, I've currently got a fan on the floor behind me running. It's slightly annoying, just barely. I mean, I can live with it, but I went ahead and I picked up another fan from TH3D. I'm going to probably be putting on it, and we'll see if that quietens it down any. But it's not as bad as what a lot of people are saying. But then again, my wife says that I don't hear very well, so maybe that's it. Because quite often she'll talk to me and I don't hear what she says, and I go, huh? What? Maybe I just got selective hearing, not sure, but anyway, it's not really that bad. Let's see, leveling, calibrate the offsets. Looks like it's heating the bed up to 65 degrees. That's heating it fairly quick. 33, 34, 35, 36. Yeah, it's heating up really fast. So we'll let that run. Wow, that was quick. Need to put a third wire tie on that wire loom there too. Okay, now it's heating up the PLA to 200. 83, 87, 89, 93, 97, 103, 106. Yeah, that's heating up fast. I haven't done 11. I probably should have leveled before I calibrated. But we'll go over it. It's the first option I've seen on the screen. Now it's shut off. Let's take a look and see how it came out. Okay, something we haven't done yet is to flip it over and let's see what's inside it. Let's see what makes it tick. Okay, we got some nice rubbery feet on the bottom. They're nice and big. They're soft rubber. So when you pick it up and move it around, you might don't drag it because you don't want to roll these over. Kind of pick it up and move it. And there's a noisy little fan there. Aluminum cover on the bottom. Let's take out. Let's see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws to take out. And as you remove the cover, be careful, the fan wires will be hooked up right inside. They're not all that long, but have to unplug the connector. Got a bunch of glue on it. And there's that noisy little fan right there. See if we can focus on it. Anyway, okay, we got a black cover here. On some other reviews I see they had a clear cover. This one is a black acrylic. And we have our power supply underneath there. One of the boards. We got ferrules on the power connectors there. It's good. Everything is glued in place. That way when shipping, nothing comes unplugged. See if I can get a close up. Well, let's go ahead and take off this other cover. Careful, don't lose your screws. Okay, let's take a close up. Yeah, that's about it. Okay, and here's Sovol's website, Sovol3D.com. And we got different pictures of the unit. It's basically 350 cubed, well 345 on the Z, but you can basically say 350 cubed. Show you some of these pictures here real quick. Linear rails on all axes, which is very nice. There's a close-up of the camera, works great. Picture with the enclosure if you choose to buy it, or you can build your own. And I'm sure in the future other companies will be coming out with them. And let's go up here to, let's scroll down a little bit. See what else we got here. And yeah, it took about an hour to put it together. Very simple. The first leg it took me a minute to figure out how to slide it together and get it on, but you know, get the screws in, then after that the other three are a piece of cake. And I am using with Orca Slicer. Their newest version of Orca Slicer does have 4 profiles from Sovol in there for the SV08. So you don't, the manual, you don't have to go through all the steps in the manual to add them, they're already there. And yes, it has an AC powered heated bed. Bed heats up really fast. The nozzle heats really super fast. And I haven't put the app on my phone yet, but that would be cool to monitor my prints from another location. Flying Gantry, planetary geared extruder. It has a giant cooling fan in the front, that's why it's so loud. Then there's a secondary fan underneath the back. So there's 2 cooling fans for your parts. And here's their official wiki page, wiki.sovol3d.com, which gives you tons of information on anything and everything. Just click on SV08. It's got all their printers listed. It's got any updates to their firmware you can find here. It's got different videos on different issues. And then over on their GitHub, you can find all the step files, everything about this printer. If you want to redesign it, reprint something, all the step files are supplied because it's open source. Everything you need is there on their GitHub. Because they built a printer based on the Voron, which is open source, I believe it was the Sovol donated $3 for every printer sold, and up front they gave $1,000 to the Voron project. So it's their version of a Voron 2.4 already built. So if you don't want to go through the expense of, you know, $1,200, $1,300, $1,400, 30 or 40 hours building it yourself and configuring it, or buying parts from LDO or somebody, printing out your parts, putting it all together, here's a cheaper alternative to do that. And personally, I wanted the Voron, but I didn't want to have to build one. I built a Hypercube in the past, and I just wanted to try out something that looked like a Voron, worked like a Voron, and just printed. So that's where I'm at. And then over on Amazon, they have it here currently for $6.99. There was a sale on Prime Day. I'm sure there'll be more sales, and they'll be in and out of stock. But if you want it really super fast, you don't want to wait to get it mailed from China, Amazon is another route to go. But yeah, it's a beautiful machine, very well put together. I've had a few issues, but we'll talk about that in a minute. I am currently using an Orca Slicer. It does have 4 profiles installed in the newest version, so if you get the manual and it says to do this and do that, to copy them all over, you don't need to do that. There are 4 Sovol profiles already in Orca. I'm sure they'll be coming out with more, and over in their Facebook group you can find lots of people that have working on this, that, and other. Lots of information in the Facebook group. Let me go back to GitHub for a minute and scroll down here to the bottom, and right here, join Sovol community. Here's where they're listed on Facebook, on YouTube, their official user group, and their Sovol forum. forms. Anyway, I'll list all these in the description below the video. So if you're not sure about what they are or where they are, I'll have them listed for you. Okay, here's the clipper interface here. And you can see I'm currently got a print going. And the camera quality, I think, is great. Great camera quality. And I believe there's an app where I can put this on my phone, so if I was in another part of the house or away, I could check in on my print and make sure it's going good. But yeah, it's very cool. And here's the full screen on the webcam. Looks really good. Kind of scroll down through here real quick. And all the different files for configuring different things to back up the dashboard. But yeah, it works really well. Alrighty, I'm finally ready to finish up this video. I want to talk about my thoughts on the printer and kind of give you some insights. I've had it for, what, 4 or 5 days now. And initially, I'll show you the good and the bad prints here in a minute, but initially when I got the printer, I got it fired up, I calibrated everything, I went through the screen on it, I set the Z offset, and it looked perfect. The 5 circles that came out looked perfect, I didn't need to do any adjusting there. I probed the bed, calibrated the gantry, went through these different steps on the screen, and then I tried to do the test prints that were on the card, and it would do 1 or 2 layers, and then it would pause front left corner. I'd resume it and pause. The filament runout sensor has a small blue light inside. You can kind of see it through the case. I would kind of mess with the cable a little bit, the filament coming in, and then it would start running, then it would pause again. And after messing with that for quite a while, I wound up taking the runout sensor apart. It does not have a little lever type, old school. It is an optical sensor. It's a little circuit board, and it has 2 little tiny bearings in there that the filament runs in between, with a plastic arm that breaks contact on the little sensor to let it know when it has or doesn't have filament. Well, anyway, that was bad. So I emailed the company. They're going to send me out a new one, and I simply unplugged it to keep printing. And then I was done with the first benchy. Came out pretty good. Went to do the second benchy, and it failed. I think that was the next morning, and it failed, and I couldn't figure out why. And then after a couple days of messing with it, I come to realize that when you auto-calibrate your Z offset, and it makes the circles on the bed, it doesn't auto-save it. And in Clipper, I don't know about, in Clipper, when you're watching your Clipper screen on your computer, and it does all that calibrating, while it's doing it, there's a save button. But obviously it's not done, so you want to click save yet. So you let it finish, and then Clipper on your computer will reboot and start back up as if it's saved, which I'm not sure that it did, because it seemed like each day I would have to rerun this Z offset with the circles and just leave the printer running, and then for the prints to continue. And then I was having a bunch of fails, and I was printing with some black filament that I had, and I was going to print the piece that goes on top of the printer. Once you enclose it, you need the extra space so that you can get the full 345 out of it. And I had this overnight on 2 of them. It was doing perfect until it wasn't, and that happened on both of them. Couldn't figure out why, and I was using my own recommended settings out of my head on how hot I should run the filament based on how fast it's going. And then I noticed that when I set up the printer and I had the newest version of Orca Slicer, you don't have to use the recommended settings that come in the booklet from Sovol and enter all this information. They're already built in the newest version of Orca. They got 4 profiles that are built in, and the temperatures are pretty warm. So after I finally started using the presets, it seems like it magically just got better after a couple days. Don't know how to explain it, but I started using their settings after screwing with this, that, and other, and really getting irritated. Done a tent tower, and then the tent tower, I'll show you close-ups of all these in a minute, but tent tower done great until it got to the top and just a bunch of stringing. So had an issue there. And I don't know, and then it magically just started printing perfect. So with this remainder of some of their filament, I've done this nice vase here. Came out great. It's not vase mode, it's very heavy duty. Came out wonderful. And then I had some filament from Layerworks, which is from my friend Trevor at Navarre 3D out of Florida. He has a store he sells online. He had sent me some filament quite a while back, and I got this really pretty tricolor. I'm not really sure what it is. It's like a translucent rainbow. It's kind of what it looks like. And I figured, you know what, I've been wanting to do a Star Wars helmet since 2016. I found the file I had on my computer from back in the day, and I got it loaded up, and it was doing real good overnight, but one side of it was starting to fail. The supports weren't quite right on it. I had auto-generated organic supports. They weren't quite right, so I went ahead and stopped the print. But it was printing nice, printing good until I stopped it, or until it wasn't. So I stopped that. I loaded up this little vase here I got off Printables. It has a brim on it I got to take off, but that just came out beautiful. Now the Z seam, it looks like a deep scar. Why it did that, I don't know, but it does. The Z seam does look kind of deep. But other than that, that egg-shaped little vase came out nice. And then I printed out a scissor lift, like I used in construction years ago. I haven't opened it up to see if it functions, but I have a scissor lift. We're going to do a close-up and we'll see if this actually works. But it came out nice. It looks like it printed okay, finished fine. And then a while back in another video, I had done a skull bowl, and then my son liked the print so much, he said, "Hey Dad, can I have it?" So I gave it away, so I printed me another one. Came out beautiful. Came out really cool, and we'll do close-ups on all this. And I've got some benchies. I've got a Lego benchy I did, and yeah, but one thing I wanted to mention, let's see, about the auto calibrate on the Z offset. Like I say, Clipper didn't seem to have saved it when it rebooted. I don't know, but to the best of my knowledge it hasn't. So at the moment, I believe every day when I start the printer up and I go to print, I'm going to have to run the Z calibrate offset with little circles, and then I'm good to print for the rest of the day. That's kind of what it appears to be. The runout sensor was bad from the get-go. They're replacing that. Feeding filament. Now, when you feed filament off the spool or a separate spool holder, whatever you may use, when it gets down to the hot end, even though you had it cut at an angle, it kind of gets stuck there. Now you can cut it like an arrow where it's angled on both sides. It still kind of gets stuck there. You're kind of twisting the filament, trying to get it to go past it. So almost every time I've loaded filament, I get a pair of tweezers or a little pair of little dikes, and I take out the little blue connector. I remove the PTFE from the hot end, and then I feed the filament manually. I pull the lever back, I kind of turn it, I get it to go all the way down the nozzle. Then I put it back together, put the clip back on it, then it's good to go. Now once the print gets done, it automatically homes to the left rear of the printer. And then you might want to change filament or add new filament. Well, pull the head back over the bed or go in a clipper and change its positioning, because when it's in that back corner, it's not over the bed. So when you extrude new hot filament, it gets down on the nice finish of the molded injected plastic, and it burns little pits in it. And right now I have a whole bunch of little holes over on the one side. So you definitely want to, if you don't change it in clipper, just drag your head back over the bed a little bit and let it extrude filament over the bed. Because yeah, it's not good that it keeps building up in that corner. I didn't realize it was melting until I went to take my finger or a little scraper and knock off those little beads of filament. I realized it had indentations in the surface right there, so that don't look good. But it's not that bad, and I realized the problem, so that's something to look out for. Let me look here. And then they've had issues with the nozzle. I guess there's been a lot of people out there that have this printer, and when they're printing PET-G, because of the pressure and the temperature, it's been pushing the nozzle apart, and then the nozzle comes down, hits the bed, scratches the bed, and then you contact Sovol, which takes time, and then they replace the nozzles, and they send you a new build plate if necessary. But to avoid it, I'm not going to print PET-G. They came out with two other nozzle designs. One had a set screw in it, so that can't happen, and another one looks kind of like if you go on their website, they're like 2 for $25 or something like that. It looks like the nozzle, which is similar to the bamboo style nozzle, and it has what looks a long threaded nozzle that screws up into it. So I don't know if that's what they're going to run with from here on out or not, if that's going to be the standard, but if so, it looks like that would probably solve the problem which some people are having with the pressure advance, the pressure from the filament versus the temperature, getting too hot and coming apart. But I do need to reprint some more parts. I'm currently running with the standard profiles that Sovol has in there for the 4 different filament types. I know there's different makers out there that are posting things here and there as they make them, and I will use them going forward, or you can tweak and configure your own settings. But for the minute with PLA, those seem to be working really good for me. The fan, when I first turned it on, The fan that's underneath the printer, it does have a little bit of a whine, but it's not really loud, and then again, I'm kind of hard of hearing. But I got another fan from TH3D, a dual ball bearing fan. It's a 40 millimeter, exactly the same size. Take out the 2 screws, put the new fan in, and plug it in. It's much quieter. I'll say 3 or 4 decibels quieter than the stock fan. Now I'm going to quit talking and you can hear it running. Not very loud at all. So, now the only thing it is loud is when you're printing the other 2 fans for the parts cooling fire up. You got the big fan in the front, which is loud, and then behind that in the back underneath there's another cooling fan. Those are fairly loud, but hey, it's a machine. It's a printer, you know, it makes noise. But the standby fan, which is the one that you just heard running now, it's fine. So in my opinion, you can buy a fan like that from TH3D here in the US or get one off Amazon, a little 40 millimeter dual ball bearing fan. And like I say, it's much quieter than the one that was in there. And that, it doesn't bother me, it's not that loud. And let's see, the filament runout sensor. It spins very well. Or not the runout sensor, but the filament arm. It's lightweight metal. It seems to do the trick, but every time I put a filament on it, sometimes it pulls out a little bit too much. And I don't want that to tangle overnight, and then I fail to print and I lose a bunch of filament. So I have a separate spool holder that I had sitting on this table right here. You can print them. They're on printables, Maker World, or Things, Thingiverse, here, there, and everywhere. You can print out a separate spool holder to put on the table, or you can order one offline already made for you. That's what I recommend, because this does tend to unwind it a little bit too fast. Even though it's lightweight metal, you can bend it probably fairly easy. I haven't had any trouble with it bending on me, but I have noticed it's drug out a lot of filament when it spins so easy. So you might want to do something there when you put a spool on it. Maybe try to put something on it to slow it down so it don't freewheel. And let's see, what else do I have in my paper I can talk about? Yeah, I talked about that. Runout sensor, auto calibrate. Oh, and on your phone, I made a comment at the beginning of the video, you have an app on your phone. It's not an app. You simply pull up your web browser, you go to the address that's for Clipper to tie in to talk to the computer, and then you can pull it up on your phone. That way you can, manipulate it on your phone just like on your PC. Or if you're away from home or in the bedroom, whatever, you can pull it up on your phone, you can check the print, see how it's doing. So that's a nice feature. And I hear that the Power Resume works on it. I heard another content creator talking about it. I think it was Brian Vines, said he left it for a couple days. Man, it resumed with no problem. He had like a small mark on the print, one of the shoes he was working on, where it resumed, so evidently that works okay. And I guess the only thing that I can say is they need to work out the bug with the nozzles. But it's a very well-built machine. I like the way it looks. It has a very sturdy and heavy base, carry handles on the side. You can tie directly into your PC or go wireless. It's got an HDMI port and 2 USB ports on the side. I guess that's about all I can say, even though I said this wasn't a review video, and it's not, because I've only had it for, what, 4 or 5 days now, but I think I got a lot of good information here, and hopefully this video wasn't too long and you got something out of it. But yeah, and who is this printer for? Is this for a new person just getting into 3D printing and this is their first printer? No. This isn't for you, because I've had a bunch of little issues here and there, but it does go together really easy. But if you're an experienced user, you've had other printers, and you're fairly smart at working on things, yeah, this printer is for you. Like I say, they have to work it out with the profiles in Orca, add more profiles, and also on my live streams that I do every Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific on Twitch and YouTube, somebody had mentioned about using the Voron profile for the 2.4 300. And I did do that in Bamboo Studio, and that will work also, so you can run it through Bamboo. And I'm hoping Polymaker gets more profiles for Orca. That'll be nice if and when that ever happens. Because if you go on Orca and you pick all filament and Polymaker's listed and you hit import, it doesn't import them because there's nothing in the back end. That's just kind of a shell you're looking at on that screen. That's not the back end of it. So, but hopefully that'll get worked out in the near future. But yeah, I'm happy with the printer. I'm probably going to put an enclosure on it. Or I'm definitely going to put an enclosure on it. Because with ABS, you need to not have room air, random cool temperature blowing on your print and causing layer shifts. Lifting off the bed, layer separation, stuff like that. You need to have it in some sort of a chamber to enclose it. And I'm getting a random noise once in a while, like when the gantry goes all the way to the rear, when it kind of hits the back, it kind of makes a strange noise. Or it's like a smacking sound, but just a few minor things I need to work out. I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy with all the makers out there in the community that bought this for me, because I couldn't afford to buy it and the company wouldn't send me one to review. So all my friends online, over a period of about a month, I asked for donations to buy it, and I received $600 from everybody. And I'll list everybody here on the screen here in a minute. And very thankful to each and every one of my friends out there that helped me buy this and purchase it. But let's do a close-up on some of these prints here, and then we'll wrap up the video. And please like, subscribe, and share. Please leave me a comment down below. Whether you like what I'm saying or you don't, comments help the algorithm. It helps my channel grow, and that's why I do this, try to grow my YouTube channel and my social media presence, where I share all this stuff, whether it be on my Facebook group or on my Instagram or my Twitter, or X as they call it. I'm here, there, and everywhere. I'm retired. I do this 24/7, and you know, I do a lot of things. I work with resin, I work with lasers, I work with CNCs, a little bit of anything and everything, and I've done hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of prints, and that's kind of what I do. So let's take a close-up and we'll get going. Well, here's my first benchy that was on the test, on the flash drive. Hopefully that'll focus okay. Let me set it down. And there's a Lego benchy. That was on printables. And then the base came out very well. And this is the LayerWorks filament. It's a translucent of what it looks like. Rainbow. And you can get this from Trevor, Navarre 3D printing. I'll have a link to him down below where you can purchase this at. But there's that strange Z-seam. I doubt that was in the model, but that's just kind of odd that's there. Looks like a scar. So I don't know what to think of that. I don't know if that was in the model or not, but I doubt it. Alright, let's see if this works. See if I can do this one-handed. Gonna have to set up my tripod probably. Okay, we'll come back to that one. Alright. It came out really nice. And I noticed they do have a crack in it. Yeah, right there on the forehead. Like a crack in extrusion. But it came out really good other than that. I'm not really sure what caused that. Now, if this would have been a print that I'm selling, which I'm not, then that would have been a no-go. I'll keep this for myself, but yeah, there's definitely something's up. But other than that, it came out really good. And let me show you a close-up on the bed real quick where I was talking about it. Move the nozzle over. And right there, you can see where the hot filament's kind of melting it. So let me put this back on a tripod here, and we'll check out that scissor lift. Okay, I got it to go up and down, but I broke the screw. So, yeah, it's got a screw here. You turn it, it drives it up, drives it down. And that's a man lift, or scissor lift as they call them. Want to get up the ceiling, work on something, men stand up here, got remote controls. And then if it should get stuck up in the air, they're in real life, and you can't get them down, there's an emergency lever here on the side. You pull that and it brings the lift down. They're battery operated. Anyway, very cool. But it broke on me, the lever, but I can still leave it, you know, use it like this. So, and it says Whopper printing on the inside. I believe this came off of a printables. Very cool. And the wheels automatically turned on it on the bottom, little wheels. So the tolerances are pretty good. But this is a silk type filament, so it wouldn't be as strong as standard PLA. And but thank you everybody for watching. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Please comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you to all my channel members on YouTube. I'll list them here on the screen. If you'd like to become a channel member, it's very easy to do so. And like I say, I try to make all kinds of good content on many different things that I do. And I live stream every Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific on Twitch and on YouTube. And if you're a maker in the community, you're welcome to join in on camera. You can talk about what you're working on. You're welcome to plug your channel and what you do. You know, we have a great time. I stream for usually 3 to 4 hours every Saturday. And thank you to everybody that donated, that helped me buy this amazing printer. Each and every one of you. I've got a list of their names here that'll go up on the screen. Thank you everybody for making this possible. I really appreciate you guys. And yeah, this wasn't, like I say, it wasn't a review video. It's a setup and do some prints and talk about it. But I hope there might be something here that you learned that will help you. And if not, you know, I appreciate you watching. You know, giving me your time. And until next time, until the next video, everybody have an awesome day and happy printing. Later.